Hey YouTube, welcome to Vlogmas, depending on when you watch this. But as of the making of this video, it is Vlogmas 2020. And so I'm doing a video a day here. It takes a couple days to upload, but anyways, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah Michaels. I'm so happy that you're here. And in this video, so I asked you guys, hey, what topics do you want me to cover? And some of you sent me some really great requests back, and that was really fun. So I got lots of good ideas of things, just go like this, things that we can talk about. One of the biggest questions I got was, hey, did you ever tell us the story of why you decided to move from Florida up to the northwest of Wisconsin? Like, what the heck happened? Why did you do that? And you guys, I really did kind of manifested our dream house here, which this has been the second time that this has happened, I think, in my life. Second. Yes, I'd say so. Yeah. Second time in my life. No, actually the third. So we'll just say the third time that I have manifested a house exactly to what I was looking for. And it's kind of crazy because, so I'm just going to talk to you guys about this whole thing here. So for those of you who have followed my channel for any length of time, you might know that I grew up, born and raised in central Wisconsin. And I spent like my whole life trying to get the hell out of there. I was like, peace, I cannot wait to get out of here. So I turned 18, and the first thing I did was I moved to Minneapolis. And then a little bit later, I moved to a place called Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And then I moved Kansas, Missouri, Florida, back to Wisconsin, Florida, back. Okay. So I'd been all over. And part of the reason for that was my now ex-husband at the time was in the military. So we did a lot of moving all over. Well, I knew that since a very young age, I always loved the beach. I've always had like seashells and ocean decorations. And I just always felt like that's very much what I was called to. And so I never ever saw the ocean again until I was an adult. So from the time that I was like 18 months old when I went down to Florida, I did not see the ocean again until I moved down there when we were stationed in Florida. And I just like fell in love. So we moved to the Emerald Coast. We were in Destin, we were right outside Destin, Florida, but basically Destin. I was there almost every day, like for a period of time. I loved it. And I knew that I always wanted to move back. So, a few years later, obviously, I had gotten the divorce and I moved back to Wisconsin. I was a single mom. So this was a few years ago. Okay. So I got divorced, moved back to Wisconsin, had a small house, had my 2 kids, was pregnant. And I was just like, okay, someday I'm going to move back to Florida. So I was dating, and like Jordan knew like very shortly into dating me that I was like, hey, I'm going to go back. And my dream, you guys, my ultimate dream was always to split my time between the beach and wherever else I was living. That's just like, you guys know, I'm very much about creating your life and figuring out what your ideal life would look like. And for me, I was just like, yeah, I would spend part of the year at the beach, ideally in the wintertime. And then I really like the outdoors. And so I would live somewhere that had woods and lakes and kayaking, whether that's Montana or somewhere or whatever, just freedom, really. So this time last year, I had been building my business. I had been gaining up quite a bit of income, and we got to move back to Florida. The only catch was we weren't going to be buying a house because obviously we were like going down there for the first time. We were moving from a different state. And so our plan was we were going to start out renting. And so we went down there. We were staying in this little hotel. And it had like a kitchenette area, all the things. So it was basically like a little house, but it was a hotel. So we go down to Florida. And so it was like, yay, we get there and nothing worked out while we're down in Florida last year. So house after rental kept falling through. Okay. And I was starting to get really disappointed because I was just like, what the heck? We're down here in Florida. So if you guys know what happened in 2020, come on, the 2020. Okay, so we moved down to Florida in 2019. So it was October 2019. We go down, we get in this hotel with the goal of only being there for like a couple weeks before we moved into a rental. So we get down there, and rental number one, they were like, oh, we took you off the wait list. And I was like, what? We were the first in line. And then they rented the place out to someone else. And I was just like, okay, new plan. But with the amount of kids that we have, and like we wanted we had like this list of things, house after house after house was just falling through, not working out. Or they were like, oh, you're only on one income. Sorry, your husband has to have a real job in order for us to consider renting to you. And I was like, what? Like just some ridiculous things, which if you are an entrepreneur ever, I'm sure that no doubt, you've probably experienced that at some point. And usually with enough like cash, people can be persuaded, like, what's it going to take to let me move in? Do you need 10 grand? Like, here you go, right? Well, it was like just not working. Okay. And so then it was down to the fact of there were like no rentals left in the area. And we were in their school district, so we could not move out of that. And it was just like getting ridiculous. I just felt like I was like, the universe is just like cock blocking me at everything. Like, what's going on? And then there was this beautiful house, and we were all set. We're like, we're going to move in by Christmas. Nobody had been interested in that property. It was good to go. I was getting my paycheck that week. It was a couple days away. And then somebody rented the house. And I was like, so we were in a hotel for Christmas, and now it's like we've been in there for 2 months. I was like, what the heck is going on? Okay. We did all the things there were to do. And then finally it turns into January, and I'm just like, this is getting crazy. Well, guess what was about to hit in February? Yeah, they had their very first cases reported down there in February. So I think it was very good timing that we got out of there when we did. But anyways, so here we are. I'm going to put a picture over here somewhere. We went to Miramar Beach, and usually when things aren't working, that's kind of just where I really like to explore why. Okay. And when you're creating things in life, it's you're partnering with heaven, right? Like you're co-creating. It's not just about me. It's also that I'm trusting that God has a plan for my life. That's what co-creation is. I'm all about that. I'm not about like, I'm going to create my will and my thing in a very selfish way. It's like, no, God, what's your plan for my life? Because I trust that. And so at that moment, I was just like, this isn't working out. And I don't know why, but I have to believe that there's something better and that there's a reason that this is going on, because this is just not normal. And so Jordan and I were sitting on the beach, and I just remember this so clearly, you guys. It was this beautiful orange fireball sunset like I've never seen. It was one of the most beautiful sunsets we saw while living down there. And we're watching the kids play, and the waves are just crashing. There's this couple over here who's, I think, on their honeymoon. They're taking pictures, and Jordan and I are sitting there, and we just sat down, and I was like, okay, this is feeling weird. I'm like, something isn't working out. I don't know why. And we both got to talking, and we both said, well, if we could be anywhere else in the world, where is the other place that we would want to live? And both of us instantly were like, the Northwoods of Wisconsin, because, we're both from Wisconsin originally, but we love this particular region. It's really, really special. There's so many different lakes. It's gorgeous. And so we'd actually, when we were traveling full time, spent the previous 2 entire summers here. So like May through August, we spent up here, and we just really love the area. And so we were like, okay, let's check. But you guys, here's the kicker. It's a very small area. There's hardly ever any rentals, because mostly the population is second homeowners, and tourist people. And there's like never any rentals up here. So we both kind of decided in that moment, and we were like, we both said it at the same time. We're like, Wisconsin, whatever. So then we go back to the hotel that night and we're like, are we crazy? Like, are we really going to move back? Is this insane? And so we went online and we looked just out of the blue, and there was one property available in the area. One. And here's the kicker. It was small and so crappy. It was like such a crappy, tiny little place. But I was like, are we feeling this? Like, do we feel like this is the right thing? And something inside of me just kept telling me, like, you've got to call. Like, just call. And I was like, I don't want to live there. It's like this tiny little box and the house is mint green. And I'm like, blah. But something inside of me was like, call. Okay. And so I trusted that. I was like, whatever. So I called, and the lady on the phone is like, hey, by the way, it's not listed anywhere else. It's not really a long-term rental, but we just listed. I think I might have something that would better fit your needs. Her name was Brenda. And I was like, okay, what's that? Because I'm telling her how many kids we have. Like, I want an office. Do you have, all this stuff. I work from home. She's like, yeah, let me tell you. So go look on this section of the website. So it's a special section on their website. So this house wasn't popping up on Zillow. It wasn't popping up anywhere else because technically it's not a long-term rental. It was a short-term rental that the owner just happened to be open to a long-term. And what happened is the previous people who lived in this house, it was a doctor. So we are here. There's the little lake there. So anyway, so a doctor had been living here and they got called away or something in the middle of winter. And so they needed somebody to move in. And so we were like, okay. But she's like, well, it's only going to be like 3 months though. And we were like, okay, whatever, So, and it had just been listed like 17 hours earlier. So Jordan and I at 2:30 in the morning, we stayed up, we're talking, and we're just like, are we serious right now? Like, we just moved to Florida. We just, like, the kids are in school. Like, are we really going to move up here? And we both were like, yeah. And then honestly, you guys, so we went from a beach in Florida to looking up this rental place, and just, it happened to work out. Like, there was this whole crazy thing that happened too, because I'm an entrepreneur. And so we had to go through this whole thing of them approving my income, which they did because I could prove that I had enough coming in, which is a big deal. When you get to the point where you're able to prove your income with your tax returns and stuff as an entrepreneur, that's like a good feeling. So side note, so we got in, it was good to go, and we got here and COVID hit, the pandemic. Okay. So it was literally just a couple weeks after we got in here. And the craziest thing I forgot to tell you was we start looking at pictures of this house online, and we both just got like chills because the living room, everything is decorated like a beachfront house. So we're in this place in Wisconsin where it's North Woodsy, where there's like black bears and cabins and like plaid, like the lumberjack plaid and like moose and stuff. So it's very like Northwoods decor. But our house is decorated and decked out in like a beach, like a nautical theme. And so there was a pillow that we saw on one of these chairs, and it literally says beach house. And I was just like, oh, it's my beach house. So even though we weren't in Florida, like God was still like, it's okay, girl. Like, I got you, right? So we're waterfront. We're right on the lake. It's amazing. It's so gorgeous. So we had so many awesome memories. And then obviously everything works out for your favor, right? Everything works for the good. The pandemic ended up working out in our favor because the owners were like, yeah, we're not going to turn this into a vacation rental in the summer. So if you guys want to keep renting it, awesome. And we'll give you a discount. And I was like, yes, please. So that was really cool. So what turned into, oh, this is only available short-term, turned into a long-term rental. And now here we are. So that was really exciting. So that's the story of how and why we moved to Florida and then back from Florida to Wisconsin. And it ended up, you guys, it ended up working out. Like, obviously, we couldn't see what was coming. We didn't know that this was in our highest good. This was going to be the best thing for us, because if I would have tried to force Florida at that time, the beaches would have been closed. Like, everything that we wanted to go to Florida to do, it's still like, it wouldn't have been the same. And also my stepson, my bonus son, he ended up staying with us for 8 months because of all of this craziness. And so we wouldn't have been able to be here for him had we not been here in this house. We were able to make amazing memories. Like, so I don't know how long we're going to be in this house for, who knows? But it's just been really awesome. And it really made us realize that we want to probably have a more permanent residence or location up here. And then when we split our time between here and Florida, we're thinking that like Florida will just be where, we go down and vacation. And then I probably won't even buy a place down there until there's this really adorable neighborhood that I want to live in. If you guys have ever heard of Watercolor, it is so cute. So honestly, I was like, whatever, let's just not even worry about moving to Florida or buying a house there until we can do Watercolor. And let's just enjoy the crap out of like our lake house and stuff. And so that's it. That's our story. That's how I kind of manifested our house here. Our beach house happened to be in the Northwoods, and it's like everything we want. So, and in another video, because I know this one's getting a little long, I'm going to do a house tour. Okay. So I'll take you through and I'll show you everything. I'll clean it up first because my laundry is like, well, there's like laundry behind my chair. So this is where I work. This is my little virtual office here. But yeah, I'm kind of messy sometimes. So I'm going to clean it all, make it look all pretty, and then I'll take you on a house tour. Okay, does that sound fun? So anyways, let me know if you have any tips, or not tips, or questions, I guess. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section. If you're curious, like if you have any questions about manifesting, if you're like, what is that? I've never done that, or whatever. I'm happy to share my best tips and practices. And really the moral of the story is decide what you want out of life. Okay. Find ways to align with how to get there. So for me, it was creating the finances to be able to make my dreams and desires a reality, to be able to move to Florida, to be able to be on a beach and be like, this isn't working, let's move. And literally 2 weeks later, we were in less than 2 weeks. It was like 10 days later from the moment we were on the beach saying this isn't working to 10 days later, we had driven from Florida to Wisconsin and we were moving into our dream house. Like, things happen really fast, right? So if you're looking to create things, freedom, create the finances. If you don't know where to start, you can always ask. I'm going to put resources on the channel about manifesting, creating an alternate income stream. If you have questions about what I'm doing, let me know. If you want to join me, let me know. I have a personal team that I'm helping to create their own income, so it's fun. But yeah, and then just if something isn't working, be willing to trust the process and be willing to trust, like, God's got a plan, man. So if something's not working out, it's okay to reevaluate and just kind of shift. And we really discovered that we were open to change. And because of that, because we were open to the highest good and believing that it was all working for the best, that path was allowed to be created, if that's making sense. So because we weren't so stuck on the idea of Florida, that we were open to, hey, this isn't working out, let's find the highest good. And we were willing to be open to the new pathways. That's how this house came to be. So there you go. If you want a video on manifesting or tips or something, let me know. But other than that, happy Vlogmas. Topic number 1, please leave a comment down below. I am doing my drawings. So a couple of my current favorite products, which you can find on my website, I just dropped them, are these CBD face masks, which, as you guys know, I was talking about before, I was getting some wrinkles. So I've been using these. They're amazing. So I'm going to be sending a couple of these out to some of my winners, as well as the CBD coffee, which You guys also know I can't drink regular coffee because my adrenals, it gives me jitters. So I'm going to be sending out some CBD coffee to some of you guys. So thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment down below to get entered, and then also leave your Instagram handle, por favor, because if I pick you, I've got to be able to contact you and get your address so I can send these out. Okie dokie. So just do that. So leave your Instagram handle, so when and if your comment is picked, I can send that out to you. So thanks, guys. Come back tomorrow for Vlogmas number 2.